Hey, robotic students, we're back. We're going to do another one. We're going to drive. We're going to get this thing to finally move today. All right, we're going to pick up right back. We've got a blank program we just loaded up. Actually, this was from the last time. I'm going to hit this. If you hit the delete key, keyboard works. And something really nice, Control Z. Control Z is undo. Really nice little time saver save there. But we don't need this count anymore. We're not counting how many times we press the button A. What we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we're going to go to actuators. Actuators are anything that moves. We're going to look at DC motor. Dual is specific that it does things together. It makes the left and the right run together, run the same direction. So if you always want, they don't have to run the same direction, but it's if you're calling them at the same time. It's nice. It just cleans things up, makes it a little nicer. But we're going to come up here. Actually, we can use dual. Because set the mode. Okay, mode is something you need to kind of do at the beginning. We're going to talk about that. Target position, that's for encoders. Zero power behavior, this one's interesting because if I just turn the motors off and stop giving them power, they can coast to rest. Or I can set the zero power behavior to brake, meaning as soon as I stop the motor, it actually turns a brake on and doesn't coast anymore. So that's something you could set if things are not going quite like you want them. Run without encoder, run to position, stop and reset encoders. Those are things for later when we start talking about how far to go. All right? But here we go. Set direction. We're going to put this up in initialize. I'm going to right click, duplicate, and then put that there. So I'm going to take the front left, and I'm going to take the back left. The two left wheels are now reversed, okay? We're going to see what happens. Depending on how these are wired, which way you want to be forward, you may have to have the right wheels reversed. But all we're going to do is we're going to come down here, and we are going to use dual, and we're going to set power inside this loop. Set power to 0.5 on the front left, 0.5 on the front right. I'm going to right click. I'm going to get another one of those. We're going to do it on the back left and the back right. And since I duplicated it after I hit the 0.5, it copied the power also. This would run at half speed forever until you stopped the program. And that's not a bad thing to do. Let's just try it, unless we lost. All right, so we'll save that, because this is named test. Okay. We're going to come over to the phone. It says it's connected. We are going to restart the robot. We're going to hit test. So we're going to restart the robot again. Restarting robot. Down here at the bottom, everything looks clean. Everything is good. Restart robot complete. No errors. No error messages. All right. Hey, let's be honest here. Something just came up. I tried it once on the floor. There was an error. Here we go. We're going to do something real quick here. Three little dots up here. All right. 3 little dots. Configure robot. We're going to edit the configuration. This tells you all the things that are plugged into the robot. All right, so here I've got 2 motors plugged in, and then I name the motors. You have to do this on the phone before the motor shows up anywhere over here for you to use. You've got to give it a name. You got to tell it what type. The types were specified wrong. 2 of the motors were from a different brand, and so they were running backwards. And it caused it to go in a circle and not what we expected. So that's different. But now that that's fixed, let's go back. You save it. You activate it. You activate that configuration file. And now the robot knows what's physically attached to it. You can have more than one config file going on. So we're going to initialize. And then all I'm going to do is hit play. And you're going to watch 4195 here do his thing. Here we go. Play. There it goes. That's half power. We step back. We reset. We initialize. We play. We stop. It's kind of a boring program here. Okay? So what can we do to this program? So let's come up to linear op mode and sleep right here. What is that? That's 1,000 milliseconds is 1 second. So we're going to go 750. Okay? Meaning it's going to turn the power on, and then it's going to wait right here in this block for 3/4 of a second. And then let's do something different here. Let's turn it off. All right, let's turn it off. We could duplicate that, and then we could do back left, back right, and now it's shut off. And we're going to wait for half a second. No, 500 doesn't mark milliseconds. 500 milliseconds is half a second. And then you're like, okay, now we just keep repeating this forever. Well, we're already in a green loop, which means we're already, anytime this op mode is active, it's going to go through here and do this over and over and over. So we're going to save. It's not required, but it's often a good idea after you hit save to restart the robot, especially if you've done a big update. We're going to back the robot up. Here we go. And we're just going to listen and watch, see what happens. Initialize, play. 1. Simple. That's how we start programming these robots. A couple things. Time is not great. You could program an entire autonomous like this, and certain beginning teams do. We're not a beginning team. We know what's going on. This is great as long as your battery's full. Because as soon as your battery starts to get weak, it's not going to go the same distance forward in 3/4 of a second at half power as it would if the battery was full. All of this changes, which is why we're going to eventually work on encoders. So here we go. We're going to open up this actuator. We're going to open up DC motor, and we are going to set mode. Run without encoder, run using encoder, run to position. We're going to just run using encoder on the front left wheel real fast just to see what happens. So what we're going to do is, now that is using the encoder, that means it's just tracking it. So what is the count? Here, instead of the variable count, what we're going to do is we're going to put in DC motor. All right. We are going to not target position. It's not the target position. It is current position. And we're going to use front left motor, which is the one we had up top up here. All right, we're going to save that, and we're going to just see what happens. We're going to back the robot up. We'll back it out of screen a little bit. Slide the stool. All right, initialize, play. Had to stop that there. On the bottom of the phone, I held that up here because right here, rewind the video, that number was changing. That number is the count of the encoder. All right. This brand is 1,1440 ticks per revolution. So when that gets to 1,440, the wheel is turned around once. All right. We're going to initialize. We're going to play. And there's the encoder count, and we're going to hit stop. It's negative because the left wheels are in reverse. So it thinks it's counting backwards, but you saw that number change. We can use that to track the distance the wheel is gone. Also, when you hit run using encoder, something you should do beforehand, something you should always do beforehand, you can even do it up here, stop and reset the encoders, because that doesn't necessarily stop when I reset the program. And so the number is just going to get crazier and crazier. So it needs to go back to 0. All right. That's plenty for this video. That's how we drive. That's the very, very, very beginning of encoders. We'll keep going.